Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Jeremy Sadowski, and I'm here to bring you exciting 2019 Maricosta Mustang varsity football. Tonight, the Mustangs return home for Homecoming 2019 versus the Centennial Apaches. Centennial's head coach is Adam Leonard, and they enter this contest 2-6. 0-3 in league play and have been outscored 131-8 in Bay League action so far, with a loss to Redondo 34-0, a loss to Palos Verdes 48-0, and a loss to Peninsula 49-8. The Apaches are in Division 14, the lowest division in the CIF Southern section. However, they play in the Bay League versus Division 4 Palos Verdes, Division 6 Maricosta, and Division 6 Redondo, Division 10 Peninsula, and Division 12 Lusinger. The Mustangs are head coached, of course, by Don Morrow in his 26th season at the helm of the Mustang football program, and they enter tonight's contest with a 5-3 record and a 2-1 league record, and they are riding a 2-game winning streak coming into tonight's contest versus Centennial. The Mustangs are heavy favorites tonight as they get ready for the big rivalry matchup next week right here at Waller Stadium versus Redondo for what hopefully will be a share of first place in the Bay League if somebody can come up and beat Palos Verdes. If not, it will be a battle for second place here in Bay League action. And now with Redondo in Division 6 with the Mustangs being moved down from Division 5 last year, it is a huge contest for playoff seeding. It is important that the Mustangs don't overlook the Centennial Apaches as they get ready for that huge rivalry game next week versus Redondo. The Mustangs have been dealing with some key injuries over the last couple weeks as they have played the lower half of the Bay League schedule. Of course, missing games was Danny Millay, the big tight end for the Mustangs, and the two running backs, Cage Gagan and Ryan Moreno. So hopefully after another week of rest, they'll be ready for next week's huge contest versus crosstown rival Redondo. With two of the Mustangs running backs injured, Bryce Carlisle has stepped up admirably, shouldering a huge load for the Mustang running attack. And junior quarterback Sam Whitney has really lit up the scoreboard the last few weeks as Coach Don Morrow, who likes to feature a balanced attack, has had to feature the passing game a lot more prevalently so far in Bay League action. Of course, helping quarterback Sam Whitney light up the scoreboard has been his receivers, seniors Kean Tofigi and Jackson Fisher, the junior Thomas Southey, and the sophomore sensation Cale Marsh. Defensive coordinator Ray Lee's defense has been led by senior leadership all season long. On the defensive line, you got Rashad Lawrence and Hank Dunlap. You have linebackers Luke Weaver and David Bodanowitz. And then in the secondary, you have Bryce Carlisle and cornerback Jackson Fisher. As the team captains meet at midfield, you have number 55, Rashad Lawrence, number 30, David Bogdanowitz, number 63, Hank Dunlap, and number 2, Jackson Fisher. We are getting ready for week 4 of Bay League action as your Maricosta Mustangs are looking to extend their 2-game Bay League winning streak to 3 and go 3-1 in Bay League action leading up to next week's huge contest versus the Redondo Seahawks for what hopefully will be a share of the Bay League championship. However, that game is huge in playoff seeding. The referee tossed the coin, and Centennial has won the toss. They will defer until the second half. The Mustangs will choose to receive to start tonight's contest. The Mustangs will defend the west end zone. And we are getting ready for week 4 Bay League action. Captains wish each other good luck. It's Friday night here at the Wall. The grill is going. It's a nice, cool fall evening here in Manhattan Beach as the Mustangs get ready for tonight's contest versus the Centennial Apaches. Of course, it's Homecoming 2019. Special time for the Mustang seniors, their last homecoming game. The Mustang players are getting pumped up for Homecoming 2019. And here come your 2019 Maricosta Mustangs. And the Apaches are getting ready to kick off. It is an onside kick attempt, and that's fielded by number 10 for the Mustangs, Brett McCullough. The Apaches were trying to catch the Mustangs off guard to start tonight's contest. Coach Don Morrow, of course, is calling the offensive plays once again after calling the defensive plays last season. Trips right shotgun, Whitney back to pass. He's going to set up a little running back screen completed to Bryce Carlisle along the left-hand side. Nice little gain to start tonight's contest. 4 receivers set for the Mustangs. Whitney back to pass. He's forced out of the pocket. He's rolling to his right. He's throwing deep down the right-hand side and to a wide open Cale Marsh for a Mustangs touchdown. A great start to tonight's contest. Like I mentioned in the pregame, the Mustangs have been dealing with some injuries from their running back corps, as we see quarterback Sam Whitney and the sophomore sensation Cale Marsh hook up for a touchdown on the second play of the game. Let's take another look at this play. As the pocket began to collapse for Whitney, he was able to roll out and throw it on the run to a wide open Cale Marsh for a 54-yard touchdown strike. Again, great job by quarterback Sam Whitney to find one of his favorite receivers so far this season, the sophomore Cale Marsh, who has put up tremendous numbers so far for the Mustangs. Thomas Southey with the extra point, and he is set to kick off for the Mustangs as the Mustangs take that early lead versus Centennial. Here comes the nice return by the Apaches as he will get up, looks like past the 40-yard line before he's taken down by Best by the Mustangs. Great return there for the Apaches. Defensive coordinator Ray Lee is back on the sidelines for the Mustangs after that year hiatus. As the handoff goes up the middle, nothing going there as the Mustang defense swarms, led by Richard Kick and Rashad Lawrence. Centennial picked up about 4 yards on the play. 4 receiver set, man in motion. Watson rolling out to his right, throwing to his right, and completing to number 5, Brim, near a first down. Tackled on the play by number 14, Jaden McDonald, who has had a tremendous Bay League season so far, really stepping up at the beginning of Bay League play. Third and less than a yard for the Sentinels. 4 receiver set. Again, man in motion. And there appeared to be some pre-snap movement by the Sentinels. And indeed there was. So that will move them back to third and just over 5 yards to go here in the first quarter. Again, 4 receivers set for the Apaches. Man in motion left to right into a trips right formation. Watson going to throw it again to his right and complete it to number 6, who picks up a couple yards for the Sentinels. Is going to be short of the first down, 4th and 3. Let's see what head coach Adam Leonard is going to do for the Sentinels, and it looks like he's going to go for it. He hands it off to the big fullback for the Sentinels. King on the play, his big 6'3" defensive tackle / fullback picks up enough for the first down. Offset I formation. And the handoff goes up the middle for the Sentinels to Seeley. He picks up a few yards for Centennial. So the Apaches, who have struggled on offense all season long, are moving the ball pretty well on their first drive. Offset right, power I formation. The handoff goes again to King. The big fullback is unable to get moving and is stopped for what appears to be no gain on the play. 3rd and long for Centennials. Offset right, power I formation. And this time, number 5, Brim, DeAndre Brim, in at quarterback, throws it incomplete. However, there is a penalty versus the Mustangs, so that should give the Apaches another first down here on their first possession of the night. Coach Morrow looking for an explanation on the call. Mustangs showing blitz, 4 receivers set. Watson back in at quarterback. He throws it this time to Brim, who was at quarterback the previous play, and he picks up a nice gain prior to Bryce Carlisle tackling him. And another first down for Centennial. Single back formation again. Some pre-snap movement by the Centennials. Referee confirming that it is versus the Apaches, and it is, so that will move them back another 5 yards. Watson in under center, and he hands the ball off this time to number 7, Seeley. Haven't seen too many high schools run an offense where the quarterback is actually under center, except for mainly short yardage situations. 4 receiver set, shotgun formation, and there is a timeout on the field. Timeout Centennial, as they are driving here on their first possession. Coach Adam Leonard wants to discuss this big play here for the Apaches. Man in motion from left to right. Watson in shotgun. He's going to throw it to the man in motion and complete it to Brim, who picks up about 6 yards before being tackled by the junior, number 21, Zane Thormasgaard. Zane has had a tremendous season for the Mustangs on defense, scoring 2 touchdowns on fumble recoveries. 1 on a fumble. And speaking of a fumble, Watson had to just jump on that one as number 30, David Bogdanovich, was coming in hard trying to recover that fumble. That will bring up a 4th down. So what was a promising drive for the Apaches stalls here in Mustang territory. Trips right shotgun. Mustangs showing blitz, and Watson's throwing it deep into the end zone, and that is incomplete. Number 31, Charlie Kohler, was in on the coverage for the Mustangs, so the Mustangs will take over on downs. The handoff goes to the single back, Bryce Carlisle, who dances forward and picks up a few yards on what I thought was going to be a loss of yardage on that play. The pass is complete to number 11, Kian Tofigi, close to a Mustang first down. It depends on where the officials will spot the ball, and it is enough for a Mustang first down. 4 receivers set, man in motion from left to right into a trips right formation. Whitney back to pass. He's going to throw it out to his right and complete it again to number 11, the senior Kian Tofigi. Nice gain there for the Mustangs, setting up a 2nd and 4 situation. Offset right, pistol eye formation. The snap is deflected by Whitney, picked up on the bounce by number 8, Bryce Carlisle, who is able to pick up nice yardage and a Mustang first down. So what could have been disastrous for the Mustangs is turned into a first down by Bryce Carlisle, able to pick up the ball on the ground off of the one bounce. Whitney back to pass, and there appears to be a penalty here on the play. Let's see if it is going to go against the Mustangs. No, it's going to be versus the Sentinels, offsides. So it's going to be first down and 5, Mustangs here on their second drive of the night. 4 receivers set. Whitney back to pass. He's going to throw it out to his left on a nice wide receiver screen as number 55, Rashad Lawrence, got out and gave Thomas Southey a nice block as the Mustangs pick up yet another first down. 4 receivers set. Whitney in shotgun. He's back to pass, and another penalty on the play. This time it is going to be against the Centennial again, offsides. Four receiver set, man in motion left to right into that trips right formation. Whitney setting up that little running back screen with all those blockers ahead of Bryce Carlisle. Picks up a nice little chunk of yardage there and another first down for the Mustangs. So that will do it for the first quarter. Mustangs lead the Apaches 7-0. Tonight's trivia question, brought to you by Skechers, is: what Centennial High School alum became a famous 1980s rapper? To answer tonight's trivia question, log on to the Maricosta High School football players group page. First person to answer the question correctly will receive a point. Person with the most points at the end of the season will receive a pair of shoes courtesy of longtime Mustang football sponsor Skechers. So the Centennial Apaches must be happy with the start of tonight's contest, as they only trail by 7 points after the first quarter, as quarterback Whitney goes right to the end zone on the first play of the second quarter, and that will extend that 7-0 lead of the Mustangs. Let's take another look at this play, as the Mustangs were in that trips right formation, and Whitney all season has liked to go to that single receiver side to number 16, Thomas Southey. And those two have hooked up quite a few times so far this season, as Southey kicks the extra point through, and the Mustangs extend their lead to 14-0. Southey on for the kickoff. It's a high but short end-over-ender, which will just be downed at about the 23-yard line by the Apaches. Watson under center, man in motion. The man in motion didn't want to go in motion. And then there was some other motion there on that play, as this Centennial Apaches will be backed up 5 yards on that illegal motion. Watson was calling for the motion, didn't get it, and then got the illegal motion. So offset I formation, Watson under center. He's going to hand the ball off to the tailback. This is Seeley. Picks up a yard or two on the play before being taken down by Jaden McDonald. Got 3 yards back of that 5-yard penalty to bring up a 2nd and 12 situation. Centennial in shotgun. Watson sends Seeley in motion. Now he's going to throw it to Seeley out on a running back screen, and he's met immediately by number 22, Josh Best for the Mustangs. So he will lose a few yards on that play. Best was not fooled whatsoever. Shotgun formation, man in motion. Watson rolling out to his right, and the pocket has collapsed on him, and he's going to be thrown down for a sack by number 59 for the Mustangs, Roman Garcia. Of course, Garcia had a fumble return for the Mustangs for a touchdown earlier this season, as the Apaches come out here in punt formation, trailing 14-0. And it's a good punt by the Apache punters, sending Kel Marsh all the way back into Mustang territory. And he will return it to about the Apache 40-yard line, where the Mustangs will take over. Whitney back to pass. He's going to throw it over the middle to Kian Tofigi, who is still on his feet and is going to be down to the Apache 5-yard line. 1st and goal Mustangs on a 35-yard gain by the senior Kian Tofigi. Coming across the field, was able to get open and then outrun the defense all the way down to the 5-yard line. 4 receiver set, man in motion from right to left. Penalty on the play. That's a delay of game versus the Mustangs, so that will set them back 5 yards. It'll be 1st and goal now from about the 10-yard line for the Mustangs. Again, 4 receivers set. Whitney back to pass. He's forced out of the pocket to his right, throws it near the goal line, intended for, it looks like, Kian Tofigi, but also number 32, Kel Marsh, was in the area. It appeared they might have run into each other. However, the pass is incomplete, bringing up a 2nd and goal for the Mustangs. 4 receivers set. Whitney back to pass. He sets up that wide receiver screen to Thomas Southey, and Southey had 2 tremendous blocks and is able to walk into the end zone for a touchdown, his 2nd of the night. Let's take another look at this play, as he gets a great block there by Kian Tofigi, and then a pancake by number 55, Rashad Lawrence. I could have walked into the end zone after getting those blocks, as Thomas Southey kicks the extra point up high, straight, and good, and the Mustangs all of a sudden have opened up a 21-0 lead with a quick 14 points here at the start of the 2nd quarter. And the kick is taken at about the Apache 20. Brim is looking to break free. He runs around, is able to pick up about 7 on the return. Nice job by Brim trying to make something out of nothing on that return for the Apaches. 4 receiver set, man in motion from right to left into a trips left formation, as Watson rolls to his his left and is taken down for a sack. However, there's a penalty on the play. It might have been a face mask versus the Mustang. I saw Watson's head sort of jerk to the side as he was being tackled on the play. The officials discussed the call. Let's see what the call is going to be, and I believe it is going to be a face mask versus the Mustangs, as the officials are getting ready to mark off the yardage, trying to determine where the penalty should be marked off from, since it was a loss on the play. Looks like they're going to mark it from the spot of the foul, which they're determining here where that is. Let's see what the call is. Indeed, it is going to be a personal foul, that face mask, versus the Mustangs. So that will give the Apaches a first down. 4 receiver set, man in motion from left to right. This time Brim is in at quarterback, and he tries to hand it off to the single back, Seeley. Ball was fumbled. Seeley was lucky to jump on it and retain possession for the Apaches. Coach Morrow getting ready for the Mustangs' next offensive possession. Trips right shotgun. Brim again in at quarterback, and he hands it off this time cleanly to Seeley, and Seeley is able to break free, making something out of nothing again, and he's tackled down the field by Jackson Fisher into Mustang territory. So what I thought was going to be a loss of about 3 or 4 turns into a big gainer for Centennial. Man in motion from left to right. Brim fakes the handoff to Seeley, takes it himself on the quarterback keeper, and he's still on his feet, and he's down to about the Mustang 8-yard line. Great run there by number 5, Brim, in at quarterback for the Apaches. Personal foul against the Mustangs, so that will be half the distance to the goal. First and goal from the 3-yard line for Centennial, as they trail the Maricosta Mustangs here 21-0 in the first quarter. Brim under center, I formation. He's going to hand it off to the huge fullback, number 54, King. He might have picked up a yard on the play, setting up a second and goal situation from the 2. Power I formation. This time Brim's going to take it and get pushed into the end zone by his big fullback King for the touchdown, as the Centennial offense gets on the board, aided by a couple penalties by the Mustangs, and they're going to go for 2 here as Brim hands it off to number 54, King, who is just stuffed at the line of scrimmage. Conversion is no good, so the score will remain 21-6 here in the second quarter. With 4 minutes and 55 seconds to go until halftime, the Mustangs will take over possession. Fans, remember to stay tuned at halftime for homecoming festivities. It's always exciting homecoming game here as the Apaches are getting ready to kick off here in the second quarter. And another onside kick. This time it's fielded by Kian Tofigi, who pitches it back to Jackson Fisher, and he gets a huge block there by Bryce Carlisle, and then Fisher just sort of throws a defender by and breaks free and goes the distance for a Mustangs touchdown. Just when the Apaches get a little momentum, it goes right back to the Mustangs as Jackson Fisher And the Mustang return team puts a little razzle-dazzle on a onside kick return. Let's take another look at this play, as it was kind of that in between. It got past the initial line, and Kian Tofigi got the ball, pitched it back to Fisher, and then Jackson Fisher got a huge block by Carlisle, and then was just able to make a nice move to fake out the remaining 3 defenders and get into the end zone for a Mustangs touchdown. Southie on to kick the extra point for the Mustangs. It is up high, straight, and it is good. So the Mustangs lead 28-6, scoring 21 points here in the second quarter. As Southie will kick off once again for the Mustangs. It's high, it's short, it's about the 25-yard line. Fielded by the Apaches and knocked out of bounds at about the 32-yard line, where Centennial will take over. 4 receiver set, man in motion from right to left. A little shuffle past a number 6 for the Apaches, and he's going to be wrapped up, and he's still on his feet, driving forward, and finally brought down after a few-yard gain. However, great job by the Centennial back there to keep his legs driving and pick up a couple yards on what should have been no gain play. Man in motion. Brim fakes the handoff. He's going to take it himself, and he is gets himself around the right end. And another huge gainer for number 5, Brim. Brim has been quite effective so far running the ball for the Apaches. However, there appears to be a penalty on the play. Let's see what the call is. It appears to be versus Centennial, perhaps a hold on that play, which enabled Brim to get around that right end and that huge gainer. Again, the officials are discussing where the penalty took place. It appears to be a spot foul, and it does appear to be a holding call versus Centennial, so that will knock them back into their own territory, bringing up a... However, it was enough to pick up the first down. 4 receivers set, Centennial and shotgun, man in motion from right to left into that trips left formation. This time Brim is throwing it deep down the side, and it is going to be intercepted by number 31, Charlie Kohler, as Charlie was able to read Brim's eyes all the way, and he pulls in the interception for the Mustangs. So the Mustangs are going to look to try to get some more points on before halftime, as we take another look at this play. As Brim rolls to his left, throws against his body, and Kohler makes a great job. Great read on the play by Kohler to pull in the interception. So with 3 minutes to go in the first half, man in motion, the handoff goes to the man in motion. That's Jackson Fisher. He gets around the left end, picks up a nice chunk of yardage there for the Mustangs. Fisher has been quite effective running the ball for the Mustangs so far this season. However, there is a holding call versus the Mustangs. We've seen Jackson Fisher run the ball off of the wide receiver motion. We've seen him in at quarterback in the Wildcat formation, and this time Whitney finds Thomas Southie, who leaps forward over an Apache defender and picks up a first down for the Mustangs. Great job and great athleticism by number 16 Southie. Trips right Whitney rolls to his right. He's going to throw to his right and complete it. Little back shoulder catch there by number 11, Kian Tofigi. Picks up another first down for the Mustangs. Trips left, shotgun. Whitney being forced out of the pocket. This time he's just going to take it himself, gain about 5 yards on the play. Whitney hasn't ran the ball that much this season. Last season, of course, quarterback Nick Carpino was quite effective running the ball for the Mustangs. Timeout on the field with 1:46 to go in the first half. Mustangs trying to get some additional points here before halftime. Whitney back to pass. He throws it over the middle, and this time it's completed to number 7, Richard Kick, who has filled in for the big tight end, Danny Millay, who got injured during the Palos Verdes game. 1st and 10 Mustangs. Whitney back to pass again. He's throwing it deep over the middle, and wide open is number 7, Richard Kick. There wasn't a defender within 10 yards of him. Let's take another look at this play as Richard gets lost in coverage there, and literally nobody covered him as he is found wide open there by Whitney, and he just is able to get into the end zone uncontested. Southie high snap. Tofigi is able to get the hold down for the Mustangs, and the point after is good. So the Mustangs extend their lead to 35-6, scoring 28 second quarter points. I was saying at the beginning of this quarter that Centennial was happy after the first quarter, only trailing 7-0, but all of a sudden it's 35-6 here late in the second. Watson on the return for the Apaches, breaks free, and a nice return. It looks like past the Apache 40-yard line. However, another penalty on the play. It seems that the Apaches take one step forward and then 2 steps back all game long. Let's see what this call is. Again, the officials are discussing the location of where the penalty took place, and it is going to be an illegal block versus the Apaches. So they will start deep in their own territory here as the second quarter winds down. Watson back in at quarterback for the Apaches, and he hands it off to his single back. Seeley might have gotten back to the line of scrimmage. Defensive coordinator Ray Lee definitely pleased with his defense's performance so far. 4 receivers set, shotgun formation, and Watson back to pass. He's throwing it deep down the left-hand side, incomplete. Kohler was again in the coverage, 1.2 seconds to go. It's a bad snap, and it looks like Watson is able to jump on it at the Centennial 1-yard line. That could have been disastrous as we go to halftime with the Mustangs leading 35-6. Tonight's trivia question brought to you by Skechers is, what Centennial High School alum went on to become a famous rapper in the 1980s? To answer tonight's trivia question, log on to the Maricosta High School football group page on Facebook. First person to answer the question correctly will receive a point. Person with the most points at the end of the season will receive a pair of shoes courtesy of Skechers. And now, fans, it's Homecoming 2019 at Waller Stadium.
Consider joining Team Maricosta this Sunday for a tremendous community event
Welcome back, fans, and congratulations to this year's homecoming king and queen. As we are getting ready here to start the third quarter of play, Thomas Southey is set to kick off. It is a high and again short kick, this time pitched back to Brim, and Brim is able to pick up another 10 yards or so right up the middle before getting tackled by the Mustang return unit. Let's see if Centennial can get some momentum here to start the third quarter of play, as the second quarter was absolutely disastrous for them, giving up 28 points and only scoring 6. Little pitch to the man in motion picks up about 3 yards for the Apaches. Brim in at quarterback for Centennial. He was by far the most effective quarterback for the Apaches, and this time he's going to get sacked by number 21, Thormasgard, and number 30, David Bogdanovich, as Coach Ray Lee is definitely going to bring the pressure in the second half. Mustangs showing blitz. Watson back in at quarterback. This time he throws it out to his left, completes it for a minimal gain. Timeout on the field. And it's a high punt. Gonna take a high bounce and be downed at about the Mustang 39-yard line, where Maricosta will have their first possession of the second half. Trips left. Whitney throws the ball out to his left, intended to the middleman of the trips formation, Tofigi, incomplete. 2nd and 10, Mustangs. 4 receiver set, shotgun formation. Whitney's going to hand the ball off, this time up the middle to number 8, Bryce Carlisle, who picks up a couple yards on the play. Again, Coach Morrow is definitely relying heavily on his passing attack with a couple of his backs hurt. Trips right, shotgun. Whitney back to pass, completes it to his left to Southey, who breaks a tackle and then picks up another 10 yards or so for another Mustang first down. All season long, we've seen Thomas Southey make the first man miss, but that time he just broke the tackle. Shotgun formation, Whitney back to pass. He's going to throw it out to his left and complete it to Kian Tofigi on a nice little out pattern by the senior. Picks up another first down for the Mustangs. Mustangs in shotgun. Whitney's going to hand the ball off, this time to Carlisle, and Carlisle is trying to get around the right end and will pick up a few yards. Not much yardage on that play. Good pursuit by the Centennial defense, as Bryce was able to pick up 5 yards. Trips left, shotgun, ball is incomplete. That time it was intended once again for number 16, Thomas Southey, who has 2 touchdowns so far this evening. 3rd and about 5 for the Mustangs. Whitney's going to hand the ball off to Carlisle once again. Let's see if he was able to pick up enough yardage for the Mustang first down. It's going to be 4th and about 2 for Maricosta. Offense stays out on the field. Trips left, shotgun. Whitney's going to throw it to a wide open Thomas Southey on 4th down, and that will be good for another Mustangs touchdown. That's going to be Thomas Southey's 3rd touchdown of the night, and quarterback Sam Whitney's 5th, as Quarterback Whitney was able to rifle that pass in between two defenders and get it to Thomas Southey, who had a step on those two defenders, and into the end zone for yet another passing touchdown for the Mustangs. Southey on to kick the extra point. The snap is high, and this time the kick is blocked by King. So with 6 minutes and 5 seconds to go, here in the third quarter, Mustangs extend their lead to 41-6. Ball is dropped there by Watson, picked up, and he picks up nice yardage on the return to about the Apache 42-yard line, where Centennial will start this possession. Offset right, power I formation. Brim in at quarterback. He's going to hand the ball off to Seeley, who will pick up maybe a yard on the play around the left end before being forced out of bounds. This time Brim fakes the handoff, and he's going to get sacked by number 2, Jackson Fisher. And Brim appears to be shaken up on the play. Hopefully he'll be back in for the Apaches. Watson in at quarterback now for Centennial. 4 receiver set. Watson back to pass. Here comes the rush by the Mustangs, and Rashad Lawrence just out of the reach of the senior defensive lineman goes. Watson picks up a nice gain there for Centennial. Fourth down and about 2 now. Offset right, power I formation. Watson under center. He's going to try to hand it off to one of his fullbacks, but the Mustang defensive line penetrated 2 yards deep into the backfield, and that ball ended up being fumbled. It was recovered by the Apaches. However, it will be a turnover on downs, as number 18, Casey Pavlik, in at quarterback now for the Mustangs. He's going to hand the ball off there to number 4, Personius, Luke Personius, in at running back now for the Mustangs. Again, the Mustangs are going to get some valuable time with the backups on the field, as we see Pavlik rolling out to his right, throwing it to his right, incomplete. Third down and about 3 yards to go for the Mustangs. Third and 13, as Pavlik throws the ball and completes it to number 82. The speedy receiver for the Mustangs is going to split the defense and go up the middle for a Mustangs touchdown. Wow, nice play there by the Mustang second unit, scoring a very nice touchdown. Let's take another look at this play, as it was 3rd and 13, 4 receiver set, and Pavlik finds the speedy receiver right up the middle, and he just outruns the entire defense. We don't have a name for number 82, but he is making a name for himself here at the varsity level. So the Mustangs score a touchdown on the final play of the third quarter, and Thomas Southey adds the extra point to lead the Apaches 48-6. Tonight's trivia question, brought to you by Skechers, is: what Centennial High School alum went on to become a famous rapper in the 1980s? To answer tonight's trivia question, log on to the Maricosta High School Football Players Group page on Facebook. First person to answer the question correctly will receive a point. Person with the most points at the end of the season will receive a pair of shoes courtesy of Skechers. Southey on to kick off for the Mustangs. It's a low line drive, and it's still bouncing, and finally picked up by Watson, and he's going to be stuffed at about the 16-yard line. Great job by the Mustang coverage team to haul in the return man. Another penalty on the play. Seems like there has been a penalty on all the returns by the Centennial Apaches. Another illegal block. So that will put them back, as we have now entered a running clock situation here with the score being 48-6. However, the Apaches say, hey, we're going to stop that running clock with a timeout. Watson in at quarterback, single back formation. The handoff goes to that back. That's Seeley. Tries to get and does get around the left end. Picks up about 5 yards on the carry. Had to break a couple tackles to get that 5 yards though. As again, Coach Ray Lee is coaching up the Mustang defensive second unit here, as they try to hold the Apaches just to that 6 points. Again, single back formation. Watson under center. Hands the ball off, good for maybe a yard or so, and another timeout for the Apaches. Watson in under center, man in motion to an I formation, and this time it goes to the tailback, and he's going to be stopped in the backfield. Mustang defense swarming in on that play. Coach Ray Lee is definitely excited on his second unit's performance, getting high fives all around. Watson under center, hands the ball off, and again the defense swarming in for about a 4-yard loss on the play. So that Mustang second unit is definitely coming out to play here, as it is 4th down and 14 to go. The second team offense scored a nice touchdown, and then the defense comes up with a very nice stop on that possession, as the ball will roll dead and the Mustangs will take over at their own 37-yard line as the clock ticks under 5 minutes to go. And the Mustangs are just looking to run that clock out and get ready for next week's huge game versus rival Redondo right here at the Wall. Coach Ray Lee putting away his headset as the Mustang offense is churning here late in this contest. That's Sam Gracie Glazer on a nice run, setting up a 3rd and 1 situation. Pavlik in shotgun. He's going to hand the ball off this time to Personius, and Personius gets past the 50-yard line, and that should be good enough for a Mustang first down. This time, Pavlik hands the ball off to number 34, Hunter Jepson, and Jepson gets around the right end and picks up a good chunk of yardage, led by number 74, Jacob Elson on the play. Mustangs in shotgun. Handoff goes this time up the middle. That was number 40, Sam Gracie Glazer, in on the carry for the Mustangs. Pistol formation, the handoff goes to Personius. Might have picked up a yard or two on the carry for the Mustangs. Again, the Mustangs just looking to run this clock out and get ready for next week's huge Bay League game versus rival Redondo. we have gotten some scores from around the Bay League. Looks like Redondo was victorious today, as well as Palos Verdes. So next week's game versus Redondo might be for a share of the Bay League Championship if the Mustangs can beat the Seahawks and the Panthers can defeat the Sea Kings. If the Sea Kings are victorious next week, they will be Bay League champions, and the winner of the Costa Redondo game will be second place in Bay League, which will be very important for Division 6 seeding purposes, as your Mustangs go 3-1 in Bay League play, defeating the Centennial Apaches 48-6. Stay tuned, fans, for next week, as the Battle of the Beach will be right here at the wall as your Mustangs take on the Redondo Union Seahawks. We'll see you right back here for that huge game.
I just thought, we had a good week of practice, came out here and we handled business. That's all there is to it.
Everyone wants to see me.
Next week's Redondo, you know what that means.
Yes, I do. Can't wait. We're going to go out there, handle business again, and get our spot in the playoffs. We played well. I thought we pass protected well, and I thought we ran the ball well. And I'm excited for Redondo. I think we got good things coming next week.
We were just efficient, both sides of the ball, mostly on offense. And honestly, we're going to need it coming into the next game. Come up against a big team, Redondo. Honestly, this is going to be the biggest game of the year, and I'm excited.
Yeah, so we've been working on that play all week, designed by Coach Lavelle, executed it well, got a big block by Bryce, and worked out as planned.
All right, next week is Redondo. You know what that means.
Yup, business. So big game for us. Really looking forward to it, and we're gonna come out and play our butts off next week.